Hey, y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, on Sunday, they're going to run the Bowling Green Stakes at Saratoga, and it's a pretty good field, so let's take a look at it. The Grade 2 Bowling Green Stakes is run on the inner turf at a mile and 3/8 for 4-year-olds and up, and if you look at the configuration, you'll note starts on the backstretch, so there are 3 turns in this race. Number 1 is Highest Honors. I've never been a big fan of this horse. Chad Brown trains, but he's definitely got to be on his JV team. This one just isn't good enough. He can repeatedly disappoint. He's been the beaten chalk plenty of times, and the best he probably can do is under, and he always leaves you wondering why he didn't do better. So in this particular case, he is coming in second off the layoff after a disappointing Manhattan, but he's just prone to disappoint, and I just can't use him in this race. If you like him, maybe you can get him underneath at 8-1. It's a decent price. Number 2 is Rock Emperor. He's kind of the same thing. This one's a little higher up than Highest Honor, but he does disappoint on fairly regularly. He did win the Bowling Green last year, and he finished second the year before that. So you know he likes the track, and you know he likes the distance. So those two things probably elevate his form from what it's been recently, which isn't very good. He had a pretty bad Manhattan at Belmont, and the start before that in the Fort Marcy was just sort of okay. But that's kind of the extent of this horse. He tends to disappoint. He certainly has the ability. I don't think that's the issue. It's just the will to win doesn't always seem to be there. So you are getting him at 12-1. I consider him to be more a candidate for underneath than anything else, but he does have a puncher's chance as he did win the race in the past. But unfortunately, I think that's going to drive his price down to an unacceptable level. Number 3 is Never Explained. Shug McGahee's had a really tough Saratoga. Not much has gone right, but I think this might be a bright spot. It took him a little while, and Shug will take his time, but I think he finally figured this one out. The last couple of starts, he paired his career high buyer, won the dinner party at Pimlico, and didn't do bad in Monmouth. Actually had a really good second. Now, Catnip did not do very well in the United Nations next out, and he was a favorite, so I don't know what that says about the race. But the bottom line is this horse is in good form. He should be sitting just off the leaders, and there'll be a couple of them wanting the pace here. So he could get first jump on the others. I'm not sure he's good enough to win this race. I think there's others I like a little better, but I think underneath is a pretty good bet, and he does have a puncher's chance to take it down. Number 4 is Verstappen. Brendan Walsh's barn is going well, but this one is not. I loved him in the Elkhorn, got him at 16-1, was overjoyed. That Turfway form just really holds up when it goes other tracks, but he has not built on it, and he was really bad in the Man of War, very disappointing. And then they dropped him in class again to an ungraded stakes in Indiana Grand, and he was the beaten chalk and kind of disappointed once again. So his form has been going south since that big Elkhorn effort, and it's kind of hard to back him now, particularly when you're stepping up in class again after only a couple of weeks off. So I'm going to pass on Verstappen. Number 5 is Soldier Rising, and he's another one that, he kind of breaks your heart. This one has obviously a world of talent. He's been grade 1 placed many times, but in watching how he runs, the thing that occurred to me was it takes him a while to get going. And that's the Achilles heel, and that's the problem. That's why he's got 7 seconds and 3/3 as opposed to 4 wins. It just takes him a while to get that big kick going. Now, when he gets going, is he as good as anybody? Absolutely. The problem is it just takes a while. So it's, you look at his last 2 races, and it's pretty much the same thing. He rates the back, he makes his move, he gets it going, but it's too late, and he ends up second. And I think that's very possible here. You're coming in third off the layoff, but like I said, it really doesn't matter what kind of form this horse is in. He could be in the best form of his life, but the bottom line is that the way he runs, it's always going to make it very difficult for him to win, and that's. So in that respect, he's always going to be kind of an underlay. He's a damned if you do, damned if you don't horse. Can you use him here underneath? Absolutely, but I can't see using him as a win candidate for that reason. Number 6 is Strong Quality. I think he will be the speed of the speed in this race. He will be the pace. He'll get some competition from Never Explain and Channel Maker. But I think this is a now horse. He's on the upswing. Since they've switched him to turf, he's been progressively improving. And in the Manhattan, that's a big step up to a grade 1 from Allowance Company. And he didn't embarrass himself at all. The problem was he ran a little too quickly. He wasn't able to settle because he did get some pressure. But he kept on pretty well, and it looks like he just fell off the table, but he didn't at all. He continued to run. It's no sin losing to up to the mark. But I think he displayed a really good effort there. And if, excuse me, if in this race he can just get to the lead and slow it down to comfortable fractions, I think he's got a really good chance to win this race. He has done it on dirt, so I don't think it's out of reach for him to do it on turf. So if they can get him to run even 49 and 113 or 50 and 113, I think he's got a puncher's chance of taking this down. He's going to have the cavalry coming late. We know this, and there's some pretty good late runners in this race. But, if as alone on the lead, a lot of things can happen. And at 10 to 1, I'm willing to take a chance and maybe use him with a win ticket or two. More than likely he'll get under. But I don't think you want to discount this horse at all. I think he's got a chance. Number 7 is Gray Wizard. He's a late runner and a long-distance specialist. Just got a second in the Belmont Gold Cup at 2 miles, so we know the distance isn't a problem. Really, the problem more than anything else is speed and class. I'm not sure he's good enough to take this race down. He is a late runner, and he is in good form, so certainly underneath at a price is definitely possible. I think if you likely will get that 8 to 1 will drift up a little bit, and then he makes for the bottom of your trier, the super. Maybe even the exacta, but I don't think he can win this race. He's just not fast enough. Number 8 is Channel Maker, the venerable 9-year-old, and I've made no secret in the past I'm not a big fan of this horse. I think he just runs around the track. He gets to the lead and just kind of hopes to hold on. He doesn't inspire me. I can't say it any other way. He's definitely lost a step, but he's still competitive at graded stakes level. So I will give him credit for that. The last race in the Belmont Gold Cup was not terribly good. It was at 2 miles, though. Getting back to a 1.3 maybe will help a little bit. He's going to try to get to the lead. I just don't think he's going to get it. I think Strong Quality's younger and a little quicker to the task. And so he'll be relegated to sitting behind the leaders and just hope he can hang on. And I'm not confident that he can do that. If you like him, you do get 20 to 1, but I don't see it happening. Number 9 is Rebel's Romance, and we all remember the Breeders' Cup Turf last year, where we weren't sure that he was the right horse, or that wasn't coming. We weren't sure his form was great coming in, but we were all proven wrong because he just blew that field away pretty comfortably. Charlie Appleby last year was unstoppable. This year, not so much. Godolphin's had a tough year. Royal Ascot, I don't think he got a win. And his shippers he's brought over here, notably Warren's Point, Modern Games, they haven't done terribly well. Or Silver Knot, for that matter. So you got to wonder if his barn's just generally in a slump. Now, that said, this horse just ran into Dubai Shima and was a pretty big disappointment. You'd like to think he would have run a little better, though it's no sin to lose to Equinox. He's the best turf horse in the world. But you just would have thought he could have put in a little bit more of an effort. He certainly had some time off to get his act together, and that will help. The question I have is, are we going to get his best effort? And then the question is, does he need it? And I'm not so sure he does. I think he can beat this field with an A- effort, or even maybe a B+ effort. He's that good. So I would still make him the pick to win this, but I don't know that I want anything shorter than 8 to 5, because you do have some reservations with the way Charlie Appleby's been going this year in North America. You got to wonder a little bit about it. But he's certainly the horse to beat. Excuse me. Number 10 is Tawny Port. This one, last year he There were some couple of bright spots, notably on synthetic. So you had a feeling that maybe if he moved to turf, that things would happen for him. And kind of like Tiz the Bomb, another horse from the 3-year-old crop that we were excited about moving to turf. Things really haven't gone terribly well for Tawny Port. Since the Ohio Derby, he really hasn't done very much running at all. So I think this is kind of a desperation move to put him on turf. And there's just not enough here to get excited about. I mean, Christophe Clement's a nice trainer for sure, and he has had some time to acclimate him to turf. You see some works on the tab, but I'm going to definitely take a wait and see approach before I bet a horse in a Grade 2 race, stakes race at Saratoga, who hasn't tried the turf before. So Tawny Port is a pass. And the also eligible is number 11, Daunt. This is Bobby Roboto and Mark Keller. They were you may remember, Grand Couturier was their charge. Great stakes horse at Saratoga. This one is, this would be a really big step up, I think, if this one draws in. The form is halfway decent. He's had 3 straight seconds. A little bit alarming there, but they've all been pretty good efforts, but that's certainly not Grade 2 company. So this would be a major league step up. And then he would need his career best probably to get in the money. I don't think he could win it. So if Daunt draws in, he'd be a pass for me. So here's what it looks like for our top 5 for the Bowling Green. Number 1, we're going to use Rebels Romance. I think he's the class of the field. I don't think he necessarily needs his best race to win this, but I do have slight reservations that he may not be 100% for this race. Given the fact that Charlie Appleby's barn's been in a bit of a slump in North America in particular, you do have to wonder about that a little bit. But still, I think he's good enough to win this race. Number 2 is Soldier Rising. I think he'll finish second against anybody. I mean, he's just the way he runs more than anything else that just makes it impossible to back him as a win candidate. But I certainly think he's more than capable of getting under, and that's likely where he'll be. Number 3 is Never Explain. I think he's in good form. He'll be up near the leaders, should get first jump. Not quite sure he's good enough to overtake the better horses in here, but I think he'll be in the mix and likely will get an under finish. Bunch's chance to win, though. Number 4 is Rock Emperor. I think the track is going to pick him up from his recent subpar form. He did win this race last year and got a second the year before, so clearly a configuration that he likes. And Saratoga will do that to horses. It elevates them from what they were, however they have been running. It'll bring them right back up again. So I think that's entirely possible here. And you know what? He could very well win it. And at 12-1, maybe you give him a puncher's chance. But I think underneath is probably more likely. And then number 5, we're going to go with Strong Quality. I think this horse is coming to this race in really good form. I think he'll be on the engine. And if he can slow it down, it is very possible. With a lot of horses who don't have that will to win in this race, and if Rebels Romance is a little off form, then he's got a very good chance to wire this field. I wouldn't put it past him at all, and I think you're getting a pretty good price at 10-1. So that's the top 5 for the Bowling Green, and I hope this helps you with your analysis. And of course, I wish you the best of luck in your wagering. If you like content like this, certainly you can go on over to our website at RedditTheWire.com. We've got daily selections, full card analysis, 2-year-old analysis, all for Saratoga and available to you. So go on over there and take a look. And if you do like the content you see here, please like and subscribe. And we do thank you for coming by. We'll continue to have daily stakes postings for Saratoga throughout the meet, as well as covering the other major stakes events that happen in thoroughbred racing away from the spot. So plenty of content to look forward to. I'll be talking to you in the very near future. So until then, be well.